The Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES, is an 8-bit video game console released by Nintendo in North America, Europe, Asia, Australia, and Brazil. Originally released in Japan in 1983 under the name Nintendo Family Computer, or simply Famicom, the system was redesigned and given the new name for its release in the American market in 1985. The NES/Famicom was the most commercially successful video game system of its time, helped the video game industry recover from the 1983 crisis, and established new standards that were followed by the industry. It was also the first console produced by a third party, which helped promote the system worldwide. It was also one of the first consoles to support games created by third parties, not just the manufacturer itself. Its model code is NES-001. To build on the success of its arcade games released in the early 1980s, Nintendo planned to release its own console. The initial idea was a system with a 16-bit processor and a floppy disk drive. As these specifications were unrealistic at the time, the project was redesigned, and on July 15, 1983, the company launched the Nintendo Family Computer in Japan. The Famicom, as it became known, was a cartridge-based console with an 8-bit processor. The Famicom was intentionally designed to resemble a toy. It was light, had two colors, red and white, and featured controls that were completely different from the standards of the time. The console had an expansion port, and many components would be released to connect to the port. During its first year, the Famicom was criticized for programming errors, which led Nintendo to recall all consoles sold and temporarily halt production. Later, with the problem solved, Nintendo returned to marketing the Famicom, becoming the best-selling console in Japan at the end of 1984. Encouraged by the Famicom's success in Japan, Nintendo showed great interest in launching the system in the Western market. The company attempted to negotiate with Atari to launch its console in the North American market under the name Nintendo Advanced Video System. But Atari showed no interest, as it was working on its own 8-bit console. Nintendo then decided to launch the system itself, and in June 1985 unveiled the Nintendo Entertainment System at the Consumer Electronics Show. The system was completely redesigned, featuring a much more serious and modern layout. And unlike previous practices, Nintendo presented the console as an entertainment center to emphasize the system's power. The NES was officially launched in the US on October 18, 1985, in New York City for public acceptance testing. An initial 50,000 units were made available, sold out quickly, prompting Nintendo to launch the console in the rest of the country in February of the following year. The console was later officially launched in Europe, Australia, and Brazil. The system, despite competition from the Sega Master System, remained the leader in the Japanese and American markets for a decade. In the 1990s, due to technological advancements, the system was replaced by more modern consoles. Nintendo of America continued supporting the console until 1995, when production ceased. In the East, Nintendo of Japan produced a new version of the Famicom, called the Famicom AV, and maintained its technical support until October 2003, when it officially discontinued the system due to a lack of spare parts. This gave the system an official lifespan of 20 years, the longest of any console released to date. Controller. The NES controller, the first to feature directional buttons, virtually defined the design of all subsequent console controllers. The controller had a parallelepiped shape, with the A, B, select, and start buttons. It also had cross-shaped directional buttons, making it the first home console to feature this feature. The controller was designed by Gunpei Yokoi, who had also used directional buttons in some game and watch games. The NES 101, the second version of the console, came with a more rounded controller, similar to the SNES. However, the button positions were maintained. Famicom 3D System. an accessory consisting of glasses with liquid crystal displays that simulated the sensation of screen depth. Family Basic, an accessory consisting of a cartridge and a keyboard used to create programs using the BASIC language. Family Computer Disk System, an accessory that allowed the use of floppy disks on the console. Family Computer Network System, an accessory that allowed connection to a private network. NES Advantage, an arcade-style controller designed for fighting games. NES Max, a controller with a more ergonomic shape and turbo buttons. NES Satellite and NES Fourscore, multi-tap accessories used to connect multiple controllers to the console. NES Zapper, a light gun for shooting games. ROB, acronym for Robotic Operating Buddy, an autonomous robot for the games Gyromite and Stack Up. U-Force, an accessory consisting of sensors that detect movement. Power Glove, a glove with controller and motion sensors, notable for being one of the objects of interest in the film The Wizard. Power Pad, a mat made by Bandai for games such as stadium events, dance aerobics, super team games, and others.